How's it going, everybody? This is Todd Abedrabbo. Hope you're having a great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so earlier this year I talked a little bit about dollar stores and obviously some of the problems that take place over there. Well, now I'm going to move over to another cheap chain that I really feel like needs to be discussed as well in regards to their problems, and that is thrift stores. Now, obviously, they're just like dollar stores. The only difference is it's really not food at all. It's more just, clothing and also some really cool electronics as well that you can get for the cheap. And obviously, there are quite a few of them out there. However, just like with dollar stores, thrift stores, they are not immune to their problems as well. So this video is going to be about the problem with thrift stores. I'll share with you a little bit about my thoughts on it, and I'm going to share with you 3 things that really cause thrift stores to be the exact opposite as the way that they are advertised. Because trust me, just like with dollar stores, thrift stores, they have quite a bit of problems as well. And so I'll share with you 3 of them right here. Now, the thrift stores have a lot in common with dollar stores. They're very cheap. You usually get most of your items at least $1 or $2 or something like that. However, instead of usually just regular appliances, food, and all that other stuff, here, this is more about fashion. You get to go there just to find some real cool vintage clothing and also some good home appliances as well. Some old lamps as well, and also some old items that you can store around your house or even your rooms just for fashion that ways, and also some electronics as well. So sometimes you usually find an album or even an old video game or stuff like that. Hey, you can get those and get them at a really cheap price, which usually is pretty cool considering that, a lot of the items that you usually get from your regular fashion or video game stores, they would be a lot more expensive than the ones that you would find at the thrift stores. And there are quite a few of them in New Jersey and America. In fact, 3 years ago, and I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, I did go to a thrift store in Union to get free video games, and they are the 2nd Avenue thrift store, which is located in Union, New Jersey. Obviously, I got those, and I enjoyed playing the games, obviously. They work pretty well, but obviously, like I said before, those aren't the only items that you would get there. There are so many other items, including fashion items, and also a whole bunch of appliances as well, that you can really get on the cheap. But again, thrift stores, just like with dollar stores, they too have problems. They aren't what you think they are sometimes, and there are 3 reasons as to why. And the first of which is because of fast fashion. Now, sometimes you usually have a lot of clothing there within a short amount of time. The only problem is sometimes they just look really worn out. Obviously, some of the clothing that is there, they would usually be so old that sometimes they look a little bit wrinkly as well. They may even have a few holes in them as well, and sometimes, they just be too big or too small to put on as well. Obviously, sometimes, they usually just store them up in your closet if they purchase them and just leave them there without trying them on. I mean, maybe just keep them as memorabilia or something like that. But hey, fast fashion sometimes, unfortunately, it can lead to some real big problems in regards to the way that some clothing may look like. And to go along with that, some of the fashion that you usually see there, they're just a little bit out of whack too. I mean, obviously, there aren't some really cool new items in there as well, but again, it's mainly just vintage fashion as well. And sometimes, just there isn't much of what you want, obviously. There aren't a whole lot of good shirts there that you would probably want of, something that you personally would like. Sometimes, you're just looking for a good pair of pants as well. Hey, they would be completely ripped up, unfortunately, and, it would just be next to impossible to put on. In fact, literally, most of the time, some of the clothing that you would get there, they're so old, they can rip apart very easily. And because of it, it just makes them useless, and really, it just makes it next to impossible to put on and wear every day. I mean, I know nostalgia is a big factor in Gen Z today, but obviously some clothing, they are just not meant to be in a thrift store. And unfortunately, old clothing in which they're completely worn out and look like they're about to rip apart at any moment, that is among them, and that's why fast fashion is a big problem in thrift stores. The second problem with them is because a lot of the items that you usually get there, whether it's clothing or even some appliances or any media items or something like that, they can look very, very dirty. I mean, sometimes, they just be on the shelves for so long or were just turned in that had a lot of stains on them that it looks like that it really just went through a meat grinder or something like that. I mean, sometimes they just don't look good at all. And that's really one of the biggest complaints in regards to thrift stores. I mean, obviously, some of the items that you usually get there, like I said before, to go along with ripped clothing, there's also some stains that probably may not have been washed out from some of the clothing. In fact, there may even be some, scratches on on a whole bunch of discs that may cause it not to work, unfortunately. And unfortunately, you know, just some of the lamps that you get there as well, or even like picture frames, or you know, like files or stuff like that, hey, sometimes they just don't work right. And unfortunately, you know, there might be a bunch of cracks on that thing, and also a lot of dust as well. It just doesn't work good. And yeah, unfortunately, you know, because of that, just like with clothing, they can break very, very easily. And a whole lot of dirt on them, along with a whole bunch of dust, it can really make it look like that literally it's been on there for way too long. And because of that, many people that find them, ultimately they question why they're even in a thrift store in the first place, and they'll usually just stay away from them. I mean, that's exactly why, you know, everything in a thrift store is really jumbled up, because obviously, you know, there are so many items in there, especially since many of them are donated, that you don't really know if it's really clean or not. I mean, maybe it was just put there quick enough in which obviously they just want to get rid of it right away, and you know, unfortunately, because of that, you just couldn't clean it up in time, and that's why it looks so bad when a person ultimately goes to purchase that thing. It's just not right. People would rather get some vintage items there that were clean, and unfortunately, if they were not clean, people are going to want to stay away from that thing, because it's definitely not worth the price of admission. Finally, the third, and I think the biggest problem with thrift stores, is that sometimes they can be very, very misleading. I mean, obviously, just like with dollar stores, they are not immune to misleading their customers in regards to their items. I mean, hey, you get everything that you want for a cheap price. Well, obviously, sometimes it does not work that way. Like I said before, some of the items, I mean, obviously, they may say that everything would be like $1 or $2 or something like that. Well, there may be a bunch of items there that may look like that, that end up being much more in the price in regards to that. And unfortunately, a lot of people just won't be able to afford it. And not only that, you know, like I said before, you know, clothing, obviously, they look so old that they may get ripped apart, unfortunately, when they might advertise that it looks like it's fresh or something like that. And then all the discs as well, and all the media items, VHSs too, you know, there's a good possibility that they may be worn out too. So unfortunately, they may break, and as a result, they're just not usable as a result. And there's a reason why thrift stores also get a pretty bad rap as well, and it's because of the way that they falsely advertise all their items to all their customers. I mean, just like with all the other stores, I really do feel like that thrift stores need to do a better job about just being honest in regards to all their items. I mean, if they don't work, hey, don't even have them on the shelves at all. Only put them on your racks and also all your shelves if it is really clear that not only does it look clean, but it also works as well. If you're gonna have a dirty item on there, or something that doesn't work, or something that's more expensive than it should be, hey, it shouldn't be there. And because of that, you should not be misleading your customers in regards to all those items. I know there's plenty more that I can think of, but obviously, as we all know, thrift stores, they may be good for nostalgia reasons. Obviously, you would like to go there just to really relive the past and ultimately get things at a very good price. You know, obviously some pretty good fashion, you know, get some VHSs or disc cassettes or video games in which you can enjoy watching or playing as well, and really just get a whole bunch of stuff to really decorate your house sometimes. But unfortunately, they sometimes just do not work the way that they're supposed to, and unfortunately, because of that, just like with dollar stores, thrift stores unfortunately can be very misleading to their customers in regards to how effective most of the items at their stores can be. I'm sure there are a lot of people that would really love to go back and relive that nostalgia of, you know, what their parents may have had in the past or stuff like that. Thrift stores are there for a reason, and it's really just to relive that past. But unless those items work, trust me, thrift stores, they are not worth going to at all. Sometimes it's best to just go to a regular fashion store, or maybe even just a regular video game or home hardware store, just to get exactly what you want, because sometimes thrift stores, they can really rip you off. So yeah, if you really enjoy old nostalgic things and really enjoy going to thrift stores, hey, just be careful with what they're advertising, because sometimes it may not work exactly the way that you think they will. Sometimes the clothing will get ripped off, sometimes the discs will work, and unfortunately, they will just mislead you in regards to, you know, all the prices and all of that stuff. And trust me, there are some very shady things that go on in thrift stores, so just be careful, because just like with dollar stores, thrift stores, they are not immune to problems as well. And trust me, there are plenty of them. Alright, that's gonna do it for this video. So I'd like to hear from all of you. If you happen to go to thrift stores quite often, what do you think? Do you agree with me with some of these problems? Are there more problems with thrift stores that you feel like make them get a real bad rap? Or do you disagree with me? Do you think that there's something about thrift stores that you actually like? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below. I'll be more interested in hearing your opinions about it. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for my videos, whether it's brushes or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you're having a great day. As always, I hope to see you all again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.